learned the other day, do we have to do it again today for their opening?
Yes.
Yep, so you have to say you're via Zoom and the location where you're at.
Thank you.
Yep. We're almost live, hold on. All right, okay, we are live. Katie just needs 1 minute here and then she guys going, and I'm ready for the share screen, so when you're ready for that, just let me know.
Okay, yeah. I think we can call the meeting to order. Ed, would you like to start?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm coming through, right?
Yep, we can hear you good.
All right. So at this time, I'll call the Land Preservation Board meeting to order. First order, do we need to take a roll call vote?
Roll call
to see who's here.
Okay, you can start by yourself.
Okay.
State your name and your location.
I'm sorry, Katie.
State your name and your location.
Okay, Ed Kretschmann, Royalton Township.
And that should be via phone. So when you show up,
Yeah.
and then it's
Yeah.
via phone. Yeah.
Via phone. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, would you like to pass it on to, how about Lois?
Yeah.
Lois Foster, I'm from Niles, Darien Township. I'm the vice president.
Via Zoom.
Via Zoom. Okay, thank you. And then Dick?
Richard Schinkel in Orinoco Township.
Okay. John?
John Hinkleman here from Bainbridge Township on Zoom.
Okay. And then Rod? You're muted. Rod, you need to unmute, please.
Hang on, I'm gonna ask him. Oh. It should be on the left-hand corner and it should have an unmute with the microphone. There you go.
Okay, Rod Krieger, Coloma Township, here.
Okay. And then Brian? Dargis?
Supervisor?
Supervisor?
David Chandler, Sodas Township.
David Chandler, okay.
So we don't have Brian.
So we don't have Brian.
Right.
Brian, Dargis, okay. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone.
Katie,
Okay.
Katie, may I interrupt you? I don't know
Sure.
how the others are receiving there, but I'm getting quite an echo when you speak. I can tell that by the room, the space in the room. So if I say, pardon me, I couldn't hear you, please forgive me.
Okay. Am I echoing now?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just because our, let me make sure that my sound is off. That's off. I'm muted, so it's not.
Okay. How about now?
It sounds like it might be better.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Okay. So ready
all
to
right,
move forward here?
Yeah, next on the agenda is correspondence. Or no, I'm sorry, approval of the minutes.
Yeah, I'll have to need a motion to approve November 6, 2019 minutes.
I'll make a motion that it be approved.
Shingle.
Yeah, that was.
Yep.
There's support.
Support.
Okay, Lois.
Lois.
Okay. We'll do roll.
Any-
Any discussion? Okay, we'll go through the
We
roll.
okay? Yeah, go ahead.
Ed Peterson,
Yes.
Yes.
Lois Foster,
Yes.
Richard Shingle,
Yes.
John Hinkleman,
Yes.
Rod Krieger,
Yes.
David Chandler,
Yes.
Brian Dargis absent. Thank you.
Okay, minutes are approved. Moving on to correspondence. Katie, we got the Michigan Agriculture Preservation Fund Board announcement.
Right, so as you are aware, the Michigan Agriculture Preservation Fund Board released their notification of funding for the 2020-2021 funding year. There's 1.9 million available to preserve, to actually purchase development rights through eligible counties and townships that are participating in the Purchase Development Rights Program. The application is due on December 28th, and we, as you'll see in our agenda, our new business, we have received applications that could be submitted to the state's program. That's all I have. Could you hear me okay?
Fine,
Yep.
very
Yep, we
good,
heard you.
thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions for Katie regarding this at all before we move on?
No.
Okay. Okay, moving on to public comment, because I don't have a screen. Is there any public on this meeting?
Okay, so what we'll do is I'm going to go to where your meeting is being shown, which is on YouTube on the Berrien County channel. I'm going to ask for public comments, but I think I'm the only one watching, so I think we won't have any, but I do have to check.
Thank you.
Okay.
Stand by.
Hang on.
I guess under correspondence, I can also share that, back in March, we were scheduled to have our Land Preservation Board meeting, but we canceled it due to COVID. There was also a presentation or a workshop being held in partnership with the Farm Bureau and the Conservation District and Chickaming Open Lands, where it was going to discuss various preservation tools and techniques for local municipalities as well as local farmers in the area. I don't know if that meeting or if that workshop will be held at a later point virtually, but that's something that was in place or was in the works, and hopefully we can create a platform or an opportunity for that in the future.
Yeah, if I can just add to that, the Soil Conservation District was also involved with that, and then NRCS was the local office, plus from the Farm Bureau side, is still trying to wade through how to communicate meetings to that we would normally have planned. So we may be looking at a summer event, maybe if they can be held in an outside type atmosphere, might be a possibility. But we'll kind of, as far as anything this winter or spring, I would probably go out on a limb and say that it's not going to be feasible,
Right.
unless the rules change in our favor. So, do we have any public?
No.
Okay, no public. Okay,
Yes,
under old business, I see none. And that leads us to new business. So at this time, I'm going to ask Vice Chair Lois Foster to take over the meeting and then conclude it, because I'm going to be recusing myself due to my sisters and myself submitting the PDR applications.
Okay. So
Okay,
Thank you,
so-
Ed.
I'm sorry, Lois.
Thank you very much. We're
Yep.
happy that we could get to talk to you today. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lois. So I wish everybody a good day, and I'm out of here.
Thank you. Goodbye. The subject today will be for the review and approval of a PDR application. There were 3 applications received. And Katie, I'll turn it over to you to introduce it.
Okay, I just want to also add, welcome Chris Marsky, arriving at Zoom. Would you please introduce yourself just from the perspective of the Zoom meeting, to state your name and your location, please.
Sorry, yeah, I was at a physical and that ran long, sorry. Yeah, I'm Chris Marsky, and I live in St. Joe area, and I think I'm the real estate representative on the board.
Yep, thank you. Okay, so we sent out, back in June, we sent out notification to all the participating townships about the opportunity to apply to our fiscal year or our funding cycle for the PDR program. And we received 3 applications from Royalton Township. And 2 of them are from Susan Kretschmann, 2 separate parcels, and then 2 other parcels, but combined as 1 application from Ed Kretschmann. So what I'd like to do is go through those applications. I did send you all the scoring sheets if you were able to pull them up on the computer. I don't know. I didn't put them in a PDF, so I don't know if that was accessible for everyone to be able to pull up. But I can certainly go through those from the scoring perspective and just kind of how they showed up point-wise ranking. And then I also would like to just share how we have our local points and our criteria of what we've ranked as priorities and areas that we want to focus on and put heavy weighted points on preservation of certain parcels. And then the state also has their criteria for the state program. And so I kind of took the, again, it's my bias possibly, but I was trying to be as technical in the scope of the scoring for the state's program so that we could see if, if there's maybe one parcel that would do better or if we want to submit all 3. So we'll go through this exercise, and then at the end, the recommendation is to just find out if we want to move these forward to the state program to submit. This is our first real go at. The last opportunity was back in 2007 or 8, and we went through this process that we're going through today. We did the scoring and the ranking, and unfortunately, then the state didn't release any funds that year, so there was no funding till as of last year was the first funding round. So, so this is exciting. This is a very exciting opportunity for us, and at least to start building our preservation program. Okay, so we'll start off with the first application, which was 40 acres. Now's the time if you would. I'm going to have my wonderful assistant Annette to bring up the computer screen. So you'll see now that there's the presentation. So the first, if you go to the next slide. Okay, okay.
Next one, or previous one?
Back
There you go.
Perfect, yeah. So again, this pretty much just recaps what I just went through. Now you can go to the next slide. Okay. So the first one, this is just to give you a quick overview. I don't know if you can see the yellow highlighted parcels, but there's 4 parcels total that are being requested for the program, but 3 different applications. So the first application is the 40 acres up in the very corner of Tilly Road and East John Beers. This is owned by Susan Crutchman, and this is all in prime farmland. So I gave them, because it's 100% prime, I gave them the full 155 points that are associated with that. We can go to the next screen. This is the parcel again, and it's 40 acres. 33 acres are in ag production, and then they do participate in PA 116. 3 acres of this property or this farm is a specialty crop. Oh, I'm sorry. So I have a little sketchy computer at home, and my words do all kinds of things. So it's not a corpse, it's really a crop. I'm sorry. And to determine the commitment, financial commitment that the applicant is willing to provide, I took the SED right now, so we don't have a farm SED per se. But I took the SED, and it's $5,510, and that's per acre. And they're willing to accept up to $3,000 per acre from the program. So the difference would be their leverage or their match, which is about between anywhere, depending on how the appraisal comes back, it could be anywhere from a minimum of 40%, 45% to up to maybe 60% or more. So I just showed what the minimum PDR purchase that they would be willing to accept on that parcel, as well as what the maximum could be just based off of the SED, not even taking into account an appraisal, a farm appraisal.
Pardon me,
So-
Katie. Katie, if I may interrupt
Yeah.
you, please.
Sure.
For the benefit of our newer members that are attending today, you say they and you say we. Would you tell us who they is and who we are, please?
The applicant? Are you talking,
No.
are you referring?
When you talk about the scoring, you say they. Who is they? Was it done in your office? Who did
Yeah, the
this?
scoring, I did the scoring. There's 2 scoring systems. There's our local program scoring system, which was created under the ordinance of the Purchase Development Rights Program. So they, in that regard, is the Land Preservation Board. That's the board that's who created the scoring system. And we is also the Land Preservation Board, because that's the scoring system that was created and approved and adopted by the local municipalities, supported by the local municipalities as well. So we and they are collectively Berrien County and the Land Preservation Board. Sorry
Thank
about
you.
that.
Thank you, Katie, very much.
Yeah, but the other, so there's another scoring system that the state uses, and
Right.
that's what the Ag Preservation Board had adopted and approved, and that's their guidelines or their determination of determining who is selected, who ranks the best for participation in the program, for awarding funding and purchasing the development rights, the easement.
Thank you, Katie.
Yes. Yeah, so this one added up to 440 points. The next one is, okay, yeah, this is the second.
Yeah, the first one was
The 48 acre,
Yes.
yeah, okay. So the next one is this skinny, it's a 20 acre parcel, it's just a very skinny split, but it kind of is the connecting piece to this somewhat block of properties that we're looking at today. And so this is 20 acres, but 18 and a half is in ag production. This property is also all on prime farmland. They participate in the PA 116. This property, the SEV is a bit higher, and I think that has some factor with, there is a structure on the property as well, as you can see in the far northeast corner on John Beers. There is a structure there. I think that's affiliated with farm workers, like it's a homestead, farmstead for employees of the farm. And again, on this parcel, the applicant is willing to accept up to $3,000 in the PBR purchase, but based off of the SEV, they could accept up to $100,000 or more based off of the acreage and the appraisal. So because of this property being closer to, it has access to irrigation, and it is irrigated, all of it's irrigated, and it's close to a livestock farm, trying to demonstrate it is closer to more agricultural land. However, this is an area that does have pressure, development pressure. There's a neighborhood across the street, and there's actually a school right on the corner of Hollywood and John Beers. But it could also be a nice place for the school to go and do a field trip. That's just my opinion. So this one did get a few more points and score ranking because of those additional items, which gave it 477.5 points. This does not have any specialty crop. It's all commodity grains, and neither of any of these applications are participating in they don't have a they're not in a MEAEP program or an NRCS program. So currently, that's another place we can work on as a land preservation board to encourage farmers to participate in those types of programs. It also helps build their scores. So that's what I have for that one. Sorry, that's okay. You can move on to the next one. This is a picture of our farmland. Prime farmland map. It's an old map, but it still is great in that it shows that obviously both these properties are in prime and unique of local importance soils. So these are both prime farmland areas. The next one is Ed Kretschmann, and this is a total of 74 acres. 67 of those acres is in ag production. And of that 67, 6 acres is a specialty crop that's processed in an adjacent county. So that's where he gets his points picked up because of the volume of the property, as well as it is all prime farmland, and there is irrigation. It is also accessible to a stream between 100 and 640 acres. So we got points for that as well. And so this one ranked the highest out of the 3 applications, but all the applications in general were great because they're their interest and their participation and volunteering to get this, to be pioneers in this area of purchase development rights. So again, on this parcel, the SED was $6,062 per acre. And so the minimum purchase would be $222,000 and the maximum would be $370,000. Or it could be more, but that's the maximum of the purchase development rights program because there's a max of $5,000 unless it's very special crops. They would go up to $7,500 according to the state's program. Okay, next one I think shows so this is showing from that ag prime farmland map that this is right in the prime farmland. Okay, so this is just to give the background of the Ag Preservation Fund Board. These are the funds, this is the funding that we would be going after to do a purchase development right program. And the two sources of funding would be ag preservation, the state's funding, and then the applicant's local match, their support and contribution. So the way that their system, the Ag Preservation Fund Board application scoring is based on two components. Your local program, which is heavily weighted of 600 points, and then the actual property, which is 400 points. And so in reviewing the requirements and the guidelines that they have, a lot of their emphasis on those 600 points is the local commitment, the matching and secured funding. So if we had another source, if we did a millage or we had some kind of mechanism for financing programs. Also our intergovernmental agreements, so that would be the cooperation if we have joint planning areas, if we have, considerations on doing just unique ways to be able to preserve farmland. Some things that I was kind of going through in my mind of like, well, where could we give at least a few points here or there is there's been some, well, it was several years ago, but Hollywood Road corridor, which this property is very close to the Hollywood Road area. These properties, all the properties are near that. Hollywood Road corridor was doing a joint study. I don't know if anything really went off from it, but we have a plan. I have it on a shelf in my office that I can pull that showed the coordination of Lincoln Township, Royalton Township, and St. Joe Township. So 3 communities getting together to discuss and look at ways for addressing some issues in that area. They weren't directly farmland related, but because of some of the concerns of water and runoff and where water should go, so stormwater issues, that could be, it is an impact and a direct effect on agriculture. So that's one idea. Another suggestion is in Berrien Springs in Orinoco, they did a corridor along the roadway for water and development purposes, and they also created a form-based zoning in that area too. So that's another way to minimize people just spreading out. They're able to do some unique development and management of land in that area. So those are just some suggestions that I feel like, I don't know if I'm pulling at straws to try to get points, but I think they're valid and They're not necessarily specific to ag, but they overall have an impact and a benefit to the ag community and our land for agriculture development.
Katie,
Production.
Katie, I don't mean to interrupt, but I do have to get off now. My other appointment is here. The finance portion is here. So anyway, if you don't mind, Katie, would you please give me a follow-up phone call after this is discussed so that I find out what the board, what kind of a determination they came to on this? I'd appreciate it very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Would you like, Katie, would you like a question period at this point?
Sure, that sounds good.
If any of you members have any questions for Katie, please bring them forward now. We'd appreciate it. I know this is new to all of us. I've been years trying to learn the PA 116 program, and it just doesn't come easy. So if any of you have questions, please address them to Katie at this time.
Katie, I got a question. I'm new to this. What is the specialty crop? Can you divulge that?
Oh, sure. The specialty crops under the scoring system, those would be like grapes, cherries, apples, fruit, those types of items. And in both these cases on these applications with the specialty crop, they are grapes.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Katie, I got a
Are
question.
these to be considered separately, and is there any influence on the fact that they are contingent? They're almost, two of them are contingent, but the other one's across the street. Is that a factor?
It does. It's weighed on the fact that there is some development pressures. And according to the state scoring, I don't feel that it's, I don't see it as a negative necessarily, but sometimes that is it's a deduction in some regards, because in the state's perspective, they want to preserve large blocks, continuous areas. And so, however, I think that based off of the local municipalities, their master plan, and their zoning ordinance, they have identified and made it clear that they are participating in the purchase development rights program, and they also have an open space preservation element in their zoning ordinance to allow for, if there is development on vacant or formerly farmed land, that they can take into account this open space element to try to do, to not have to comply, to be able to decrease the minimum lot size of that district. So they allow for a 50% decrease in the lot size within the districts, and those are the ag, residential, the estate, and I think they're rural residential areas. So I think it's a combination of a variety of different things. I think for us to issue or at least submit an application that is close to development would just, I think, with a comment and a narrative of that, statement showing that this is important because this is prime farmland. It's very clear that this land should stay in agriculture production.
I guess what I'm asking is, the 3 parcels that are contiguous, would they have a better chance as opposed to the one that's separate across the street?
Yes and no. I mean, I would say, in fairness, yes, I think that that's a better, because it's a bigger block of continuous properties. It's showing, you know, a connectivity of an area, and it is not right next door to, you know, it's across the street from a development, but.
Okay, that's
Hey,
good. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got some questions because it's really kind of counterintuitive how we're looking at this. Now, obviously, in general, a larger block is better to protect, but in terms of actually most at risk, that 40-acre parcel that is on the corner of John Beers and Tilly is probably most at risk of development. It's the one that has got the right shape that'd be prime for development. There's a development across the street. It's got access to water. That one I think is most at risk, you know, in terms of development. And I guess the question is, does it have the highest agricultural value though? And is it better to have those properties that are closer to other development be the ones that are allowed to turn over to development potentially, or are we trying to protect those that are closest to other development? That narrow, skinny one has zero development potential, in my opinion. No one's gonna buy that to block it up into the individual homes. And then the one that's square in the middle there is great farmland, but how do you get to it? That's not at risk of development. And then the one off of Rocky Weed, I know that property out there, there's no sewer available. And I know a lot of that's clay soil, so I don't know how at risk that is of development. So I don't know, these are just some of my thoughts.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I think Chris has got his thumb on the finger on the idea. The 40 is probably more ripe for development, but it's also got a road separating from development that's already there, which is, I think, a positive thing.
I'm concerned about it, knowing the reason for the PA 116 program and therefore this program. We want to preserve land as much as we can for all of the environmental reasons that we hear so much about as well. But having perhaps later on park space, whatever, to be in favor of development would be against our program, I believe, and why we are here today. I don't know how to say it in a easier way. When my son gave a speech in FFA, he spoke on this very subject, and he said there are going to be a lot of people, that there will be person on top of person, land for driveways and roads and so forth. He said, how are we going to feed these people? Will it be from flower pots? So I never forget that. We have to be aware of how we'll think of feeding the population as close to the areas where they live. And I believe that's an important point to consider.
So what's the next steps?
So I would, there's a couple, and the first would be to accept the applications as scored and received. And then, so with regards to that 40 acres, that one I think is my lowest scored one. But there is a little discretionary, and we could put, you know, we could include our own discretionary to be able to increase those points. Or just also the fact that we want, you know, we want to try to go after that one. I don't know if that's gonna do as well at the state's scoring system. So there's a couple things. First, we need to accept these applications with the criteria, the scoring that's been presented, and then prioritize which ones would go before the state. We can submit all of them, but we have to provide them a priority of which one they would score at the state level. And then also then authorizing us to submit them, authorizing these applications to be submitted at the Ag Conservation Court.
I'll make a motion, we accept the application.
Okay, thank you.
You have heard the motion that we accept the applications. Point of clarification, Mr. Schinkel, you mean all three?
All three, correct.
All three, thank you. Is there support to this motion?
I'll support it.
Say your name,
Sure.
please.
David Chandler, support.
Thank you.
You have all heard the motion and heard the support. Is there any further discussion before we vote? Thank you very much. Katie, is this a voice vote?
No, we have to do roll call. We'll do roll.
Roll call vote. Would you
Lois
conduct it?
Foster. Yeah, Lois
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Richard Schinkel.
Yes.
John left. Rod Krieger.
Yes.
David Chandler.
Yes.
Brian, Chris Marsky.
Yes.
Thank you. All yay. And Brian Jarvis is not here. John Hinkleman left, and Ed Pressman recused himself. Okay. Next is what do you want us? Would we like to submit all three to the state program? And there is the thought too that maybe we could combine Susan's applications as one and see if we could submit that. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but at least then it's showing 60 acres, which is better on the state program side from a point perspective. And if not, then what's the order we would want to put priority for these applications to be submitted at the state?
I would agree with Chris with that 40 acres for Susan Kretschmann probably be the first priority.
I would try and combine her other parcel with it too, though.
You like that idea? I'll reach out to the applicant to see, but it's, it's their choice.
Are there any further comments on that subject? Katie, do you need anything further on that particular area?
So the 40 acres is our first priority. And
Are you
then
The 40 acres.
the 40, yeah.
Square 40, yeah.
And then what would be the next? The 20 acre or the 74?
74.
74.
I don't know. I take that back. I have no idea.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the comment.
I have no druthers on second choice.
We have a mention of 74 by another member to be second choice. Is there any further comment from any of the members?
I support that.
I do too.
Okay. So
That automatically leaves.
the only question I had is that based off of the scoring, the 40 acre got the least amount of points. I can go back and look and see, but I mean, I was trying to be very consistent with how I scored them. And the reason it didn't is 33 acres is in ag production. And that's because there's as you can see, there's, I don't know what that is, some dark area. There's wooded,
Hello? I'm busy
What's
right
the
now
area?
in the meeting.
and and then,
Are there, have we lost you, Katie?
no, I'm here. I'm just trying to see where it does have frontage to a drain, so that's, oh wait, wrong, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, it doesn't have any frontage to the drain.
Yes,
Katie, that wooded area kind of becomes a ravine,
how's that?
and then it goes to Yellow Creek from there. So it does kind of have.
So it does, yeah, so maybe they didn't answer it that way, right? Okay.
So
So
that
we
will
can get-
automatically leave us with the third choice then of the 20-acre parcel. Is that concurrent? Is there any
So I would
comment on
actually,
that?
then it's okay, I mean, the 74 acres gets the highest points anyways, but this one's at least closer to justify. I think we're okay. We can still go forward with the state. They're just gonna look at our own scoring and say, well, why aren't you, what are you doing? I'm preparing for these questions is my question to you all.
That's point well taken, and this is by no means final today if something should arise, but I would like to ask you again, the acceptance would be the 40 acres first, 74 acres second, and thereby the 20 acres the third choice. And is there any disagreement with that? Hearing none, Katie, then would we proceed to vote, or how do we?
Sure. Yeah, we can make that. So I'll just do a quick roll. Lois, so this is accepting the priority of applications to be submitted to the state.
Lois Foster,
40 acres.
yes.
Okay. Richard Schinkel,
Yes,
Ron Krieger,
Yes,
David Chandler. He's got to unmute himself. Unmute yourself, please. Not yet. Chris Marsky
Yes.
and David Chandler.
Yeah, the thumbs up.
Okay, thumbs up. I'll take the thumbs up.
That'll work.
Okay. All right, thank you. So at this point then, I think the next steps would be, I'm gonna put together the application for submission to the state. I may be reaching out to you to kind of get some ideas or inputs in areas that, that might be helpful to get a little more beefing up. But overall, I think, yes.
Katie, will you please give the determination of that vote, the yeas and the nays?
Oh, yes, we had all yeses. And Ed Kretschmann has recused himself, Brian Dargis is not here, and John Hinkleman has left.
Thank you kindly.
Yes. So again, yeah, what I'll do is work on this application and I'll send it out to you. We probably need to have the County Board of Commissioners approve the request to submit the application, right?
Okay, yeah,
I would think
so,
it's a state
yeah.
program, so, so then that, we will have that ready for, probably the second week before Christmas, because it's due on October, December 28th.
Yeah, we can do it. We have a meeting this coming week, and then, of course, we have Thanksgiving, so we're off. So if we can't,
So the first week in December?
the first week of December would be a doable thing.
Yeah, so I'll have this, for board resolution on the first week of December, and, we'll see what happens. I can just also share with you, I know back in February, the State Ag Preservation Board, I went to their meeting when they reviewed their applications that were submitted in the last year's funding. And there was over $4,490,000 in requests for the 1.9 million that was available. And it was a total of 2,259 acres that were submitted. And there was programs within Washtenaw, a township within Washtenaw, Grand Traverse County, Ingham County, Lauderdale County, Kent County, Berry County, Macomb, and Lapeer County. And again, all of these programs, all of these communities programs, they all ranked in various levels, in different, within their program. Some didn't have a strong program perspective, like Lapeer County didn't really have a big, they didn't have a lot of the matching and intergovernmental type stuff, conservation training. It didn't rank very well in the scoring for the local program, but the property was what ranked it to put it on the map, so to speak. So I think we'll be somewhere in the middle of, we have some weights, some points value, some value points on the program perspective. And then we also have some points with the property, but neither really are, rising to the way top, but I think it's worth our time and our effort to put one in to get it through the process to see how we do. On average, though, those that were funded, it was a total of 975 acres. And I think the largest request was 480,000 for 247 acres. So the average dollar per acre was about $2,000, between $1,000 and $2,000 per acre. So again, we're still kind of, we're on the high end of the request, but I don't think it's, I think we should still apply, is what I'm saying. I think it's worth our time and effort to see how we do at the state level. Because the state has done a set aside for new programs, for new applications. And they defined their new applications as any county or township that has not had more than 3 agriculture easements in place. So we have not. So there is a set aside of $250,000 in this year's funding for first timers. So we can at least be in that pool. And, doing the 40 acres as you described, that if we, explained and put in clear description as to why that lot is, or that property is important for us, that's also not taking all the money. So.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you very much for your professionalism in this presentation in this new adventure to all of us. I think we're off to a good start, and you have given us excellent material to work with. Are there any further questions that any of our members may have at this time, or anything in particular for Katie?
Yes, Katie, I have one question. The SEV numbers per acre that you're providing, those were high. Actually, were they doubled? Because
yes, I doubled them for the market value.
I just want to double check because I just was doing the math on Beacon, and I was coming up with 3,000 and 4,000 an acre for a lot of these. But you had the higher number, so that is correct. That's
right. So I doubled it for the market to just say this is what it would, if they were to sell it today, maybe this is what it would sell for.
Okay, so you did double them. That's right.
I did. So.
Okay.
Are there any other comments?
No.
All right, on our agenda, we have miscellaneous. Katie, what might miscellaneous be?
I think what I was hoping is to get more information on potential training. Because that's an area where we get points on the state's application. And because we missed out on that March training for our members with the PA 116 discussion and alternative agriculture preservation practices, I'm at least able to account for the Joint Planning Commission and Land Preservation Board meeting that was held a couple of years ago that talked about, we can at least use that. But so that was really what I have under miscellaneous. I don't have any other additional information.
Thank you kindly. Are there any further comments from any of our members today? Hearing none.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll support it.
Can we have just a total vote, or do you want it individually, Katie?
It's supposed to be a roll call, but it's fine.
I think we're fine.
Just having heard the motion and the support, all those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
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 Thumbs up.
Thank you, guys.
Perfect.
Thank